Speaking of the United Kingdom, we have a wild news story at Dropsite News today that is an adapted excerpt of a new book called The Fraud by Paul Holden, and it uses expanded reporting and documents that are also not included in the book, because the book is basically an investigation into the political operation of Sir Keir Starmer, current UK Prime Minister. The piece that he's writing for us today looks at a secretly funded operation that Starmer and his current chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, were running that has some implications for work that Emily has done in the past. So what they did is, when Jeremy Corbyn was rising and was the head of the Labour Party, they came together and said, how are we going to undercut the support for Corbynism and elevate Starmer? And so they identified a lot of progressive media that had grown up around the kind of Corbynist rise and said, we need to undercut these folks. And so they created two organizations, and this is what he's able to report with these documents, and this is what hasn't been known before. They created an organization called Stop Funding Fake News.
Oh, right.
FN, and another one called the Center for Countering Digital Hate. And so they presented themselves as they're just grassroots Britons who are concerned about fake news and misinformation and disinformation out there. Not that they were funded by secret money from pro-Israel elements that were funneling it into the Keir Starmer political machine. That's what he can report. So this whole thing, this whole fake news scheme that they were running was not grassroots, just concerned Britons. It was the Keir Starmer machine aimed at destroying Jeremy Corbyn. So they went after a bunch of left-wing publications. They also went after, for balance and for fun, a bunch of populist right-wing news outlets as well, including Breitbart and The Federalist. And they went after them quite hard. Turns out Emily is quite familiar with the CCDH, Center for Countering Digital Hate. So tell us what your experience was with this, what we now know is a Keir Starmer machine operation, but at the time was said to be just people concerned about, fake news.
Yeah, well, I think this actually is a really important story, because it wasn't just like MAGA news organizations. Zero Hedge was also targeted at the same time as a lot of other conservatives. Now we know Breitbart, but back in 2020, Ben Collins, who I think was like the disinformation or misinformation reporter at NBC News. So this is a journalist. Basically, I'm going to read this little section from a story he published at NBC News at the time. Tattletaled to Google about a CCDH report on the Federalist comment section. So this is a quote from his NBC News story. Google blocked the Federalist from its advertising platform after the NBC News verification unit brought the project to its attention. Incredible, first of all, that you have a journalist tattletaling on another news outlet's, because they don't like this news outlet, on another news outlet's comment section to who? To Google, which owns YouTube. So if you're familiar with the YouTube comment section, that's a hilarious move on Ben Collins' part. It was always so maddening that a journalist would take the CCDH report and then tattletale to a big tech company. I mean, just infuriating. And at the time, I remember the entire mainstream media cheerleading this report from Ben Collins. Be like, yeah, get him. Well, if you tattletale to Google and they shut down your advertising platform, you are out of business in 2020. There has since been sort of parallel efforts to back up.
What was the effect that it had on the Federalist?
So Jim Jordan came in and a couple of Republican congressmen came in and pushed back on it, and it went away. It would have totally shut down the website.
It destroyed the Canary, which is the Canary is now making a comeback, but the Canary is a left-wing outlet in the UK. It took the Canary from an influential news outlet of 25 to 30 journalists
Yeah.
to like one person,
Right.
and they took credit for like just destroying it that way. But sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, and I mean that's why you've talked about this recently. The speech protections in the United States make, especially if you're a journalist, can make you very patriotic when you look at what happens in the UK, because Google. It was brought to Google's attention that they had a clear legal problem on their hands, and also that this type of activity was going to animate Republicans on the antitrust front, which it absolutely did. Now, I would argue Google has played Trump a little bit like a fiddle over the last 6 months plus, or I guess almost a year now since he won the election, and big tech has been getting all kinds of goodies from Donald Trump. But at the time, Google was freaked out because all of a sudden you had these Republicans talking about repealing Section 230 and antitrust law and all of that. And so they backed down pretty quickly. But it was still, I think really telling that a journalist was laundering a report from what we now know to be a foreign government's operation.
Or hoping to be a foreign government, foreign political party.
So, yeah.
So how does it feel to know that it was a Keir Starmer machine operation that was masquerading as this kind of good media watchdog?
It's not surprising at all, because we saw it from, Taibbi did a lot of reporting back in the day with the Global Engagement Center, and Gabe Kaminsky did a lot of this too. That was propped up by the American State Department that was putting media companies on blacklists, including the Federalist, including, I think, Unheard, where I'm a columnist, got on one at one point, not a conservative media outlet at all. Places like Zero Hedge, like heterodox outlets that question the establishment, they were all being targeted by actually also groups that were propped up by the U.S. State Department, where they were getting most of their funding from state and from other U.S. governmental or non-governmental organizations that are mostly given, where their budget mostly comes from the government.
It was clearly like ideologically aligned with, say, like the Clinton wing, and it flowed out of that whole Russiagate and all that. But that's a little different than it being a straight up black ops operation run out of the Starmer machine. Like it's one thing to be like, these are our allies and our friends, and we hope that like we can weaponize them a little bit to our advantage. And it's different to be like, oh, this is Keir Starmer's chief of staff.
It's crazy.
Who is setting it up and operating this thing,
well,
or at least is very heavily involved.
And I think that's a good point, because it's especially egregious than that you have a foreign government attempting to influence the boundaries of free speech in the United States.
I'm like offended on the Federalists' behalf.
We should all be, we should just all be offended as Americans.
And Breitbart's behalf too. Yeah.
That an ally like the UK would be interfering in what is our far superior approach to free speech and the press in the United States. They have to clean up their own damn house. And yeah, we make a lot of mistakes, and the Trump administration has had some crackdowns that journalists should be uncomfortable with and are uncomfortable with. But our system is better than their system, so how dare they stick their fingers and metal into our free press, because guess what? It's going to come out. We're going to figure it out. And Dropsite exists.
Dropsite exists. The Federalist and Breitbart, they might be SOBs, but they're our SOBs.
That's right.
How dare you?
That's right.
We will take them on.
And also, why
don't try to do this for us.
What's your problem with Zero Hedge, right? Your problem with Zero Hedge is that they question.
It was Brexit and Nigel Farage and like,
right.
Yeah.
But the problem with these organizations is that they question. It's happening with TikTok. We covered this earlier in the show with our guest. It's going to come for the left, just because the kind of Clinton, like you said, Clinton wing controlled a lot of our institutions post 2017 and used them to resist Trump and push back against Donald Trump. So it was coming for the Federalist and Breitbart and Zero Hedge, whatever else. It's coming for the left too. It's coming, and it's going to.
It already came for him, yeah.
You're right. Yeah, right, exactly.
Yes.
But that was always so myopic
Totally.
and gross, and especially that like lefty journalist would participate in it was really, really disgusting.
Yeah.
Hope we learned a lesson, though I doubt.
Okay, I get comment from him now. Now
you should.
Now that he knows that. I didn't realize that part of it.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff.
Excellent.
Cool.
Good. Well, there should be some good follow-ups because, hopefully
he owns
Breitbart,
The Onion now.
So what a joke.
I don't know.
But so hopefully Breitbart and the Federalists will actually follow this up.
Yeah, we'll
see where
see.
it goes from here.
Ryan, so glad Dropsite exists and is
There you
publishing
go.
this.
There you go. All right, well, interesting show today.
So interesting.
No doubt about it. We'll be back on Friday.
That's right. We'll be back. We have 2 shows left in studio before Christmas too. So we'll be here next week after, with the gorgeous Christmas lights and Christmas decor.
And again, catch us December 10th at where is it?
It's on Capitol Hill.
What's the place called?
Eastern Market Barracks Road, the Majestic.
The Majestic.
Majestic Theater. You can check out the description for the link. But yeah, Ryan and I are debating that big tech does more harm than good.
All right.
We feel great about our
Yeah.
we're morally confident in our position. We're doing this with the lovely folks over at Reason.
If we lose, it was rigged.
If we lose it, it was rigged. So make sure to stay tuned. If you're interested, come and see us in DC, and we will see you on Friday with more Breaking Points.
See you then.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.